Visa Tuesday after close, PE ratio at 36. Majority earnings beats, so I'm sure that's already priced in. Close to their all-time high, 375.51, with volume spikes at its April and June lows, so it definitely got snatched up. Two most recent stacks prints are puts, both aiming for 2026. It's all going to come down to forward guidance of consumer sentiment, which has definitely begun to slow, with airlines earnings reports reflecting that. AXP, which is American Express, reported last week and ended up pulling back even with an earnings beat. Are we going to see the same for Visa? So as you can see on our chart, we've got this big run up overall. We are peaking up above that trend line, but will we hold, or are we going to head back down toward and back into this uptrend? Stacks shows big money puts, a little bit of big money calls a little bit earlier in this year. But the most recent ones are puts. In terms of equity, we do have some buying. We see 200 mil, 200 mil, 600 mil. So another $1 billion of equity being purchased in terms of this name. So Visa, a lot of people use their credit cards. Could be a boost in terms of consumers, where consumers are now relying upon credit cards a little bit more. But we got to keep an eye out for percentage of defaults and things like that. I would definitely say most recent quarter, especially with tariffs now making their full impact, consumer sentiment is definitely down. Could it still mean good news for something like a credit card company like Visa? It could, but it also, I will say, comes very much down to that forward guidance. Are they going to be able to spin it in a positive manner of, consumers are maybe hurting, but a lot of them maybe are turning to credit cards in order to maintain lifestyle, maintain their money spending. But overall, I would say just like American Express might see a double beat with earnings, but we might see a pullback afterwards, especially with stacks showing those puts coming in. You got anything
Had
for
an
us?
EPS. Yeah, they revised their EPS up 0.1% in the last 30 days. So, I mean, it's not like significant,
Yeah.
but it shows that investors reassessed their initial reading, which is always a good sign if they need to go back and take. I mean, it's a good sign if you get a positive raise, but if they were like, we had to drop it 2%, that is a huge red flag. But 286 for EPS, 18.2%. Revenues are expected at 9.87 billion, up 10% year over year as well. Service revenues are reaching 4.29 billion. That's 8.2% up. We have data processing revenues, 5.5 billion, 12.15%. So it's all going to boil down to user growth and then revenue, and Mastercard kind of being the thorn in their side for a little bit. Because right now the big debate is Visa or Mastercard, which is better. And that's kind of where people are at with it. But yeah, I think Visa, it has a good chance to beat. I always like EPS revisions that are positive because it shows that investors have a little more confidence going into that earnings report potentially. Because 0.1%, you have to remember these people are trading millions of dollars, so 0.1% is a pretty big boost for someone like that. So yeah, that's kind of what I saw with Visa. I didn't really see any breaking news stories or like data breaches or anything that I think is going to affect partnerships or any factors that really could affect this earnings from a news standpoint. But we may see something come out this week because a lot of times these companies will make announcements the day before, 5 minutes after market closes of exciting news that could actually propel the stock into an upward or downward direction for that matter.